Oh my gosh, hold up. My freaking wrote my notes on Microsoft Word on my freaking laptop and I didn't upload it. 2 seconds.
Okie dokie.
Wow.
So unprofessional. And so
It really is.
Is there like
And
a
this
left
is
and a
all
right
on-
ear on these?
This is all on camera. No, I don't think so.
I'm also the editor, so I can make myself look good. But that wouldn't be fun.
You make us look bad?
I make you look bad.
That's so evil of you. That's more evil than throwing the cockroach at Charlotte.
I didn't throw it. I just.
Yeah, you did.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, you did. We have video evidence slowed 4 times.
It's not thrown. I held it out.
And it
stretched.
flew.
And it left your hands.
It did.
Yes, it did. Why are you denying it when we have video proof?
Did I leave my phone?
I love that you have a bullet point that's just KKK. Followed by a bullet point that's just Chinese.
Okay, the way I write notes
No, I know.
is
No,
very
that's
like
real.
abbreviated.
100% feel that.
Prohibition. Goofy graph emoji.
Temptation increases temptation. You know, I didn't want to write out the word increases. I could just type an emoji. Same with the cyclical one where it says exploitation and desperation. I just put like the circling emoji because it's like they feed into each other.
I know the names. I was re-listening to your Dead Poets one, and all of y'all were blanking on all of the names all of the time, and it was driving me crazy. So I was like, I'm not going to make that mistake.
I'm really bad with names. So.
To be fair, I don't know any of the Dead boys' names either. It's Robin Williams, and then it's the tall guy, and then it's the tall guy's boyfriend, and then it's the redhead.
Yeah. Plug. Now we're good. We are chilling. Wait, what am I? Blue? Pink?
I'm orange.
Orange. Great. Great. And how are we all feeling today?
So good.
Very tired.
Yeah, actually, that's a
Genuinely,
that's the
yeah,
answer.
very tired.
Exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
And welcome back to the Pulp Diction podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Gibson. It's been a month. I think the last episode Dead Poets?
It was Maggie. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
that
Dead
was
Poets.
Maggie.
And that was a while ago. I told myself I was going to do like a bunch of October spooky episodes, and I just didn't.
Meh.
But
There's always next year.
There's always next year. I was also thinking about one of my friends back home that wrote like an essay about Halloween 1978. And I was like, oh, I should ask her to do a podcast when Halloween season rolls around. And I didn't think about her until like 2 days ago. But it's fine. There's always next year.
Should we be like staring down the barrel of the camera? Sorry.
You could stare wherever you want.
Okay.
And
Give the camera the death glare the entire time. I'm watching you.
but we're gonna make up for a lackluster Halloween season for Pulp Diction today with what I would call a banger of a Halloween movie. Not gonna lie.
I would call it a banger of a movie, period.
a banger. Of
I
a
don't know
movie
if I
period.
think of it as a Halloween movie, but as previously mentioned, I
No.
have weird qualifiers
Well,
for holiday movies.
It's not. I think a Halloween movie is much looser than like Christmas movie. Like it doesn't.
fair.
Like you can watch a Halloween movie like any time of the year.
Yeah. Maybe I don't like horror enough to have like a strong affinity
Yeah.
for Halloween.
Maybe.
It
Like
does
the only
have-
Halloween movie I like is Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown.
It does have supernatural elements and like
Yeah.
horror elements, which lends itself to like a Halloween movie.
The spooky season, yes.
Spooky season.
But which movie? Sorry. I'm so sorry. Who am I here with today?
Oh, I'm Kit.
I'm Kat.
Kit Kat, and I'm Dylan Gibson, your host, as per usual. It's great to have both of you on.
Yeah.
So great to be here.
And would one of you, or both of you like to introduce the film we will be discussing today?
We're talking about Sinners.
Yay.
Sinners, released earlier this year.
Yeah.
Directed by Ryan Coogler.
Released in April.
April sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was April. Ryan Coogler of Black Panther fame and Creed.
Oh,
I believe.
really?
Yes.
Did you know that?
No.
Oh.
Yeah. And,
Well, the more you know. He just has the magic touch.
He clearly does.
He's like Jordan Peele.
And-
Can't
Did
fail.
he do Black Panther 2 as well?
He did. He
Okay.
did both
Unfortunately,
Black
yes.
Panthers. And it came out in April. I think it's been in a lot of conversations for like movie of the year. There's been Oscar buzz around it since it came out. It was like the most successful movie to come out in a long time that wasn't like related to a pre-existing IP. And I don't know, it's very interesting. it's hard to say what this movie's about without like spoiling
Massive
it all.
spoilers.
Yeah.
I don't know how soon. Catherine told me earlier, like she didn't know how much she would be able to talk about without
I
going
can't
into
talk
spoiler
about it like
territory.
linearly because it all comes down to those last 5 minutes.
Honestly, I would recommend going into this movie blind. I went
I would
into
too.
it blind. I knew Haley Steinfeld was in
Really?
it because I follow her on Instagram, and I was like, I like her, so I'll watch
Yeah.
this movie. And I had no idea what was happening, and I loved it. It was so good, like
so
not
good.
knowing what was gonna happen.
Yeah. So did you like not even know it was a horror movie?
I knew it was a horror movie.
Okay.
That much I knew. And I knew it was like historical because I'd seen like clips from the trailers,
Yeah.
but I didn't know like any of the plot. I didn't,
Mm-hmm.
barely knew anything about the vampires. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
And how about you, Catherine?
I was late to the Sinners game, which made me incredibly obnoxious about 2 weeks ago because I was walking around being like, isn't Sinners such a good movie? Like, that was a hot take. So the things I knew about going into it were it has vampires.
Yes.
Something about Black history, something about Irish history. And I think the Irish aspects of it were played up to me immensely in like the word of mouth I got about the movie, right? I knew like Rocky Road to Dublin was in it. I heard so much about the Irishness and so little about any other aspect of it. And I've seen that like in discourse after watching the movie too, that there's such a focus on that like one Rocky Road to Dublin scene. There's such a focus on the Irishness. There's such a focus on Haley Steinfeld's character. And
Yeah.
it's like, what are we doing, guys?
It's such an interesting like movie with all the different cultures coming together. The role music plays, which I don't think anyone was prepared for that before this movie.
I was in awe. Like 5 minutes in, without even really knowing that this was going to be a movie about music as much as it was, I was already like, this is such a good score.
Yeah.
And it
I
just
mean,
kept getting better.
it's a Ludwig Göransson score, so you know it's
Yes.
going to be good.
He went insane with this movie.
He did. Well, he always goes.
He always does.
What else has he done? I'm not
he,
super
Oppenheimer.
he
familiar.
previously he did Oppenheimer. Did he win an Oscar for that?
I think he did.
I feel
yeah.
like he did.
And then he's also the producer for Childish Gambino. Fun fact.
Really? I didn't know that. He also worked with Coogler on Black Panther, which he was nominated for an Oscar for.
It had a good score. Banger score.
He did The Mandalorian.
Okay.
So he's got a good bunch of stuff under his belt.
Yeah.
And the soundtrack is so good.
Oh, good.
Please listen to it. Please stream it.
Yeah, please.
But like, watch the movie first.
But watch the movie first.
The way, and like we can talk about like the actual like songs in it, right? Like the songs that are being sung like within the world of the movie, but also just I don't know, like the score, just even from the first 5 minutes, I was just
Yeah.
like, this is
No,
so
they
strong.
let
This
you
is
know
so
right off
good.
the bat, this is a movie about music.
Right.
And it's so cool to me because it's a historical period piece. It's a horror movie. It's a movie about music. It's about culture.
There's so much.
It's about so much. Like myself going into it, I knew, hey, it's an original concept relatively. It looks kind of creepy, kind of cool. I didn't even know it was vampires from my first like time watching the trailer. I remember seeing the trailer in the theater and being like, oh, is it just like Black Evil Dead? I assume neither of you have seen Have you seen Evil Dead?
I have not.
I love
unfortunately.
Evil Dead. But like I love Evil Dead, so Black Evil Dead was like, okay, cool. But it's not that. It's vampires. And I love a good vampire movie. I need to see more. But
But it's also only a vampire movie for about half of it.
Yes.
That
And
is
it's
true.
so
you don't get your first like sighting of a vampire until 40 minutes in is Remic's first appearance.
and even after that, there's a lot more before
There's
he
nothing.
like he comes into
It's
the
like
main
the
plot
second
anyway.
half of the movie is when
Yes.
shit goes down.
And I think that that's part of like the genius of the movie is
Yeah.
it follows a very like Spielberg approach where we start off like getting used to the characters and
Yeah.
getting invested in the characters. The action doesn't happen until much later. And I think that really serves to elevate the movie experience because you care about these characters.
Yeah, it's almost. I mean, it's not a lost art. It's an almost lost art. Like building up these characters before the actual horror aspect comes in, because you have to grow a connection to them to care about what's going on and care about what's happening to them. I just watched Halloween for the first time in a couple of years the other night, and so much of that movie is just set up, building suspense, building an attachment to the characters before Michael Myers starts like killing people.
And I think we're so spoiled now in today's like IP heavy world where
Mm-hmm.
the movie like makers, they don't have to work as hard to get us invested in the characters because
No.
we're already
Because
familiar
we know
with
the
the
character
IP.
concepts.
Like
Exactly.
we know Iron Man, we know Harry Potter, like we know these characters, so they can just jump right into the action. So like I feel like we're not used to having
Yeah.
a movie like this. Like my brother called it slow. He was like, Sinners was really slow.
And a lot of people have said that, and I don't
I enjoy the
disagree,
slowness.
but
I just don't think it
enjoy the
works.
slowness. I appreciate that first half that's like pure setup and character building and just establishing the world that they're living in.
I think 20, 30 minutes in, I'd forgotten that there were supposed to be vampires at
I
all.
know.
I
Yeah.
could have watched 2.5
Like, you
hours
could-
of just day in the life.
You could I almost wish, so the movie begins with towards the end, with the ending basically,
Yes, it
right?
does.
Like Sammy shows up to the church,
Covered in blood.
covered in blood, scratches,
Broken
his
guitar.
And there
guitar
are
is shattered.
flashes
He gets
of what happened
flashes.
that night.
And I think it's an interesting choice to start with that. But I kind of wish it didn't.
I think
start
it's a
with that.
necessary choice considering the attention spans of the people.
Could be.
You know, and if it's advertised to us as a horror movie, it's advertised to us as a
Mm-hmm.
vampire movie. Nobody's going to wait 40 minutes for any elements of horror or supernatural to show up. So I think it was necessary.
Uh-huh.
And I think it managed to build in a way that justified that initial choice, even if it's not what I would have loved. Like, I don't think it really weakened it.
Why do you think? So you think he made that choice like just to draw you in and be like, okay, just
It
have a little
feels
bit of
like it.
excitement. What about you, Kit?
I feel like, in a way, it was also like artistic because it does set up the theme pretty early about the comparisons between the church and the vampires.
Yes.
Because when you see the flashes, it's always between Sammy's father, who is the preacher, and Remick.
Remick, yeah.
So it's like creating a clear parallel between the two for showing that these are both institutions that work by forcing their own ideas onto others and essentially sucking the lifeblood out of them,
Literally or figuratively.
literally or figuratively. And I think that that's important to carry throughout because we don't see the vampires until later, but we hear
Yeah.
about the blues being like the devil's music from the get-go. We see Sammy's father be disapproving of Sammy's love for music.
Shaming him, like
Right.
just bringing the devil into this house.
So I think that it wasn't quite necessary to do that, not just to get people hooked, which it does, but also to set up that particular theme and parallel.
That's a very good point. A part of me does like wish that it hadn't started like that, just so that you could like the reveal halfway through would have been that much more
I'd have been
unexpected.
flabbergasted.
It would have been flabbergasting, but also like I feel like that would have pissed people off. Like, can you
if they
imagine
think
like
they're just going to watch a period piece and
yes,
halfway
can you
through,
imagine if all the marketing was like, this is a period piece? This is just black gangsters coming home, setting up a juke joint, good times had by all, halfway through,
Vampires.
That would have been so cool. I don't know, spoiler alert for a movie called From Dusk Till Dawn. I don't know if either of you have heard of this. It's a
No.
movie that was a big inspiration for Sinners. And it does something very similar where for the first like half, it's just like a crime thriller starring Quentin Tarantino and George Clooney. And Tarantino writes the script and he puts himself as like a psychopath who gets to suck on Salma Hayek's toes. I'm not even joking.
He just wants to live out his
That's so
fantasy.
Tarantino.
It is. And then like they show up at like this Mexican strip club or whatever and vampires.
Interesting.
And it's such
Dun,
like
dun,
it's one of the
dun.
biggest tonal shifts ever and I love it and I really want to show that movie to someone blind one day.
Well,
but
you ruined it for
Yeah,
me.
you ruined
I
it
could
for
have been your
us.
test
I'm so
subject,
sorry.
But
But yeah.
I think this movie still achieved that effect, though, because
It
we
does.
spend so long in this kind of slow, thudding pace of the first act that I still was a little blindsided by the vampires. It
Yeah.
just pulls you so
Like,
much
on
into the
one
world.
hand, like that beginning gives you this sense of like a doomed narrative.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna have this fun. They're gonna,
Yes,
do what they're
and
gonna
it-
do. But it's
It gives you that sense of dread, which
That
I think
sense
is
of dread.
so integral to horror. Like when you watch a horror movie, the thing that scares you the most is the anticipation of
the
something
anticipation.
OMG, Dr.
Not
A.
so wow, not so much like the jump scares. because we're watching this movie and we're watching these characters and we are falling in love with these characters and we know that something bad is going to happen to them. We just don't know when.
Yes.
And it's that anticipation. We're like, oh, is this the moment that it's going to happen? Is this the moment the vampires are going to come? That really
it's building
builds it up.
suspense. It's just the sort of Jaws effect, I guess.
Yes,
Like you
exactly.
Spielbergian, like you said earlier. What else? Let's see. Yeah, we mentioned that was the opening, but the opening was this really cool like animated sort of sequence
That was so
about the
neat.
power
Oh,
of music
yes.
in community. It's sort of like the thesis of the movie. Like music has this power. It can bring communities together, but it can also like corrupt. It can be corrupted. It can bring healing to communities, but it also attracts evil.
And
Dun,
specifically,
dun.
like, I don't know, there's not a difference between the two. It's not like on the one hand there's good community music, on the other hand there's bad vampire-inducing
Yeah.
music, right? The music that Sammy plays that has everyone in this like rapturous thrill and oh my god, that scene is the same song that lures the vampires out, and it's
Yes.
almost like that's the price that they will inevitably pay for like joy and community, and you know what we said before about it just being
And-
doomed from the start.
And really, that authentic joy is what the evil feeds off of. Is that the evil wants that. They want that
Yeah.
authenticity, and they can't have it.
You keep dancing with the devil, one day he's gonna follow you home.
Oh, wow. He's quoting the movie.
That's what the dad says. Let's see. But yeah, like just I love the role, like the statement Coogler's making about music here. I wasn't prepared for that at all.
Neither.
And just I love just I don't know, the way he portrays the importance of music in a community and how it connects you to culture, past and present and future, which we can talk about that scene in a bit, probably.
I feel like that deserves its own section, though.
Probably.
The dedicated moment to be like, let's talk
Yes.
about this scene that is the best scene I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's should we just talk about it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so the first half of the movie is the build up to the opening of this juke joint, and they're playing music, and Sammy, who's their like little cousin, who's like really great with the guitar, starts to play.
His dad's the preacher. They call him Preacher Boy.
Preacher Boy.
Which this was Miles Caton, the actor. This was
This
his
is
first
a film debut, which
his
is
film
crazy.
debut.
Like
He had never
maybe-
acted before. He had never played the guitar before, but he could sing.
That's
So
wild.
they found
Just
this kid with this.
incredible
He does such a good job.
He does such a good job. They found this kid with this crazy voice, and
Academy, if you're watching this, nominate him.
Please,
he
please.
might
Please
be.
nominate him
I
for
can
Best
see
Actor.
it. He did so good. He did so.
What an
but
incredible breakout role! Like, how do you top that? I think his career may have peaked.
maybe. Anyway, sorry.
But anyway, so he starts to play, and then we get this scene, and the quote from the beginning about the power of music is
It comes back.
repeated.
Yeah. What's the actress that it does that narration? It's
Oh, who plays
The-
Annie?
the lady that like is
Wooden-
Smoke's love interest.
Right.
Yeah, Wunmi.
Wunmi something.
Something. I
Which
know her
she's
first
I
name.
think she's British
Is she really?
in real life. Which
She does
is
a very good job with the accent.
I think her and shoot. The other guy, the like
Slim?
comic relief, Delta Slim. I think he's also British.
Fascinating.
They're
Great job.
infiltrating.
I didn't even know.
I know, right?
Gosh,
Exactly.
it's like when you find out that Elle Fanning is actually American. Like, what? She's not British?
But there's this scene halfway through, the narration comes back, Sammy's singing his song. You get like Stack is sort of hyping him up to everybody. And or is it Stack or is it Delta? I don't know. Somebody gives him
Both
like
of
an
them are.
introduction.
They're all kind of hyping him up.
They're all hyping him up.
And as he begins to play, these like spirits start
Yeah,
to kind
the
of
narration.
fill the room.
You see like these African like drummers and dancers and whatnot going around, and you're like, okay. And you hear her talking about how like the music connects you to your past, your
And
present,
also to
and
your
also
future.
your future. And then the reveal with this like dude playing electric guitar, and then the music is
It's
electric guitar.
Yes, and then we
cool.
pan out, and it's all different forms of black music.
And it's a oneer. It's a one take
It's one
shot.
It's one continuous
which
shot, and
is
it's not-
actually 3 continuous takes that are stitched together to look like one shot, because this was shot on IMAX film, and you can only do so much of that in so little time,
Right.
but still,
But they
it's
do
impressive.
a good job of it, and it looks like it's all in one take. And I think
really incredible.
it's also interesting because before the music really reaches its climax, before the scene reaches the climax, they have it cut with a scene where Delta Slim is speaking to Sammy, but it looks like he's speaking to the camera.
Yeah.
And he says, "This wasn't forced on us like that religion.
That blues wasn't forced on us like that religion.
We brought that shit from home."
Yes.
And that really, it like shows the cultural identity that African American people have, Black people have, where they take that, and that has further influenced like future music genres. Like
Yes.
if you look at rock and you look at R&B, you look at hip hop, all of those have taken cues from blues music.
And you get to see like representations of all those in this scene.
And blues is a step away from jazz, and it bleeds so easily into jazz in this piece.
Yeah.
And it's not only, we also get, there's a point when Grace and her husband start dancing, and you see like Chinese spirits as well. There's just, it's just this.
Which I love those two characters.
Love
like
them.
they're so great.
I found them interesting. We should talk about them in another section. 'Cause
No, we
I do
need.
think
There's
that
so much we need to talk about.
Yeah.
We need to talk about that. We need to talk about the role of religion here because that's
Yes.
like
Of
course.
since the first time I watched this movie, that's been one of the most interesting
I
aspects.
know you are a preacher boy.
I am a preacher boy.
And as he's playing, the aspect ratio shifts, and it gets, what do you
Yes.
call it when it up and downs?
Widescreen.
Yeah.
Okay, so it widens.
Or no,
widescreen.
full screen.
Full screen, whatever. It,
Yeah.
it up and downs. It does, it
Which
does
there are
this.
two of those transitions in this movie.
Well, there's a lot of cutting
about,
back and forth.
but there's a lot
anyway.
of cutting back and forth. But there are two like transitions. We'll talk about the other one later. I don't know if you two.
Oh no, we know this.
Yes. Okay.
But
good.
and then at that point, you pan up to look at the stars, and like the roof of the building
you
burns
see like
away.
embers falling down.
and-
The roof is burning.
It's a real barn burner.
Stunning.
It is a real. It is.
The barn burner is an expression, but we're literally seeing the barn on fire.
Yes.
It's a gorgeous shot.
And it's great. And then you go back down, and the walls are all burned down. They're all singing, dancing. They are free. But
It's-
that freedom is also exposure because you see Remick and the other two vampires
That's when they
looking
approach.
on, and that's what attracts that evil. And just a quick side note, they actually burned the barn down. That was
No, that's so
that was
cool.
practical. That was the last thing they filmed for the whole movie.
Oh,
Oh my goodness. That is
So-
impressive. Also, I'm kind of sad that it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see that. As a person from Georgia who has seen many film sets, I'm sad I can't go see the Sinners film set.
Damn. Yeah, that's rough.
that's
But
so
yeah,
cool,
it's
though.
such a good scene. It doesn't work for everybody. I was talking with my uncle about this movie. He didn't like that scene, which
Really?
surprised me because he's a huge music guy. He thought it was like, I'm trying to think what he thought about it. It was like too obvious, too
like two on the nose.
on the nose.
Interesting.
I think that's part of the point, though.
Yeah,
A lot of this film is very like
it is
allegorical.
Oh, it's very allegorical. Like just the use of vampires as
like,
like
come on.
Like they suck blood, okay?
They
Like
suck blood.
they're like it's meant to be a metaphor for like the music industry and the white majority in general.
Yes,
sucking
this like
the culture
and this cultural like assimilation. But it's easy to look at that as like the white assimilation of black culture, almost in like a Get Out sort of way, Jordan Peele-esque. But also like they made Remick Irish specifically, not just white. I think for a very particular reason, because that is also a culture that until relatively recently to that time, maybe even at that time, they
yeah.
weren't considered white.
They
Irish
were number
people.
2 on the Ku Klux Klan's list.
Really?
Irish Catholics, yeah.
I didn't know it was that high up.
Yeah, no, they were like I'm an Irish Catholic.
Okay.
Like my family has stories of oppression. Like it existed for a very long period of time, and it's really hard for us now because Irish people are so accepted. I mean, look at the St. Patrick's Day parade.
Yeah.
That's so common. But then again, that's kind of showing the end goal. If we look at the St. Patrick's Day parade, there's no real culture there. There's no real reference to the religion.
It's all leprechauns.
It's all
Assimilated.
consumerism. It's all
And
assimilated.
specifically, it's Saint Patrick, who's the guy who came in and like Christianized Ireland.
Yeah.
Like that's
You have that love and that fellowship that Remick's always talking about, but at what cost?
the loss of your culture.
The loss of your culture.
You have nothing left.
And yeah, and that's the thing. Remick is such an interesting character. It would be so easy to make him like one note, one dimensional, and hateable. I kind of hated him the first time I watched this. I felt a little not sympathetic towards him the second time around, but I feel like I can understand him a little more.
I would say it also helps to make him like not the main antagonist.
Yeah.
The fact that they have the Ku Klux Klan, that's the real antagonist.
Which is always satisfying, seeing some Klan members get...
I know when I saw it in the theater, there were people clapping.
Yes, me too.
And like I think that it shows that he's just like a cog in the machine. He's not the kingpin. He's not like the leader. They could have chosen to make him British, for instance.
Yeah.
Which would be a more overt metaphor and
definitely.
allegory. But no, he is Irish.
Yeah, and... Oh, shoot, what was I going to say? I don't know.
You watched this movie with me, Kit, and I don't think I've ever seen me cry as hard as I did with this.
Oh,
I
you saw.
started crying at about the halfway point and was still sobbing about 30 minutes after it ended.
There was so much emotion. I think at one point
it's very emotional.
You and we watched it with our friend Molly, and you two were gasping at literally every single bit of action, every beat, and I was like, a lot of gasping coming from that side of the room.
But there's something so like yes, on one hand, like the bad guys are the vampires, but there's something so devastating about the concept of vampirism as it's portrayed in this film.
Yeah.
And as we're talking about how Remick is almost a sympathetic figure, and that you believe him and you believe Mary as once she gets vampired. And
he
you
does
believe
genuinely
these characters
believe
once
that
they're
what he's
corrupted,
doing is best.
that what
Yeah.
they're doing is best, and that it's like the only shot. And there's some truth to that at some point, right? Like it's at some point like the only options for these characters are a life of forever being like trapped under the thumb of racism and hate and just like the inevitability of that crashing down on you, or resigning yourself to like a perpetual kind of half life, half death of anger and rage and restlessness, especially when it's, can I talk about?
Yes.
At
Talk
one
about
point,
whatever.
Remick says,
If you haven't seen this movie, just go watch it. I'm assuming most people who
Go
want to watch it
watch
have
Sinners.
watched it by now.
I feel like the last person on earth to have watched this movie. But at one point, Remick says outright that had he and the vampires not shown up that night, the building would have been burned by the KKK. So there's just always, it was never going to end any other way. There's just this horrifying like inevitability to the death of it all that makes the first act of the movie again that much more impactful. And in the whatever, screw it. In the very last scene, in the very last 5 minutes, we're skipping like, you know,
The entirety
70
of the
years into the
movie.
future. And in the very last scene,
Like
Charlie,
the mid credits,
Charlie, now an old man.
played by Buddy Guy.
Sammy, now an old man.
Sammy.
What did I say? Who's Charlie?
Charlie
Who is
Patton.
Charlie Patton.
He was
Who's Charlie? Wait, why am I thinking
it's-
Charlie?
I think because Charlie Patton was like the blues singer that they were referencing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
But,
Sammy,
yeah,
whatever.
the
Charlie
mid-credit
is such a
scene.
like up and coming young kid name too, you know? Charlie and Sammy. Sammy, now an old man,
Played by blues legend Buddy Guy.
says that he wakes up like every night
In nightmares.
just paralyzed by the actions of that night, but also the day before that
The best of his life.
was the best of his life, which would be so cliche
Yeah.
and such a letdown to the ending of the movie had they not put so much work into making the first half of the movie like the best 40 minutes of our life too. It's such a beautiful
They put the
ride.
work in. They really do.
I'd like to take a step back though, Catherine, to what you were saying about like the two potential outcomes of that night. So you have them dying by the KKK, or you have them assimilating and becoming vampires. And I think that dichotomy of assimilation and resistance is shown very well through Smoke and Stack.
Yeah.
I think that the decision to make them twins was very purposeful.
Oh, 100%.
And I was thinking about that a lot. I was like, why are they twins? And I'm like, they're two sides of the same coin. First, you have Smoke, and he is refusing to assimilate. He represents the refusal to.
Yeah.
And he winds up dying in the end due to the hate of others and the oppression of others. And then you have Stack, who does get to survive. He essentially has eternal life, which is what Remick and like Christianity, for instance, has like promised they get eternal life. However, it's empty, it's hollow. Like he is alive, but he doesn't have his soul. And I think that it's interesting that they have that dichotomy between the two brothers because they're essentially the same person. They've been through the same things, but they have two very different outcomes to represent the potential crossroads that people encounter when it comes to assimilation.
100%. And also, just to jump off Smoke and Stack, Michael B. Jordan, I think, should also be an Oscar.
And Michael B. Jordan.
Conversations. Michael B. Jordan and Michael B. Jordan.
Who I have such actor blindness. I did not know. I didn't know that was Haley Steinfeld. I didn't know that Smoke and Stack were played by the same person.
Yeah.
I legitimately thought they'd found twins.
On a well, yeah, because his performance is so good.
So different. He gives them different like mannerism.
He carries himself two different ways. The costume design is like they clearly differentiate the two, blue and red.
I always find it so interesting when an actor can play like essentially two different characters in the same movie. Like,
yes.
Catherine and I recently watched Little Women 2019. And
Okay.
like Florence Pugh, for instance, does a very good job of distinguishing between young Amy and old Amy.
Okay.
And like I feel like it's sort of similar
Yeah.
for Sinners, where it's like it's very clear.
Yeah, because they have such different personalities.
Yeah, you can like see the difference in mannerisms.
And just the way it was made too, I would highly recommend like looking at some behind the scenes stuff or watch the Kill Count by Dead Meat. That's like my favorite YouTube channel ever.
That is a good YouTube channel.
Like it's crazy what they did. Sometimes it would just be a split screen. They'd film it twice. Sometimes they'd have him wear like a halo rig, is what they called it, which had like a bunch of cameras around him, so that they would and just have him play the scene. So they would capture all the data from his facial expressions and put that onto his actor double from the actual filming.
Interesting.
And
I've always wondered how they like film stuff like.
I mean, even the very first shot where I love that shot. You know, you first see one of them, and then the camera pans and moves, and you see both of them. They smoke a cigarette. He passes
And they
the
pass
cigarette to himself, and it's just so perfect. But also the like
I
symbolism.
probably would have appreciated that scene more from the beginning had I known it was the same actor playing both guys, and we're like, oh, that's cool.
The symbolism of them being twins. Like you have that duality and this like
Inside you, there are
connection.
two wolves.
This connection that twins have, even like tighter than traditional sibling bonds, I would say. Like they had like a twins consultant for this movie just to tell them how like
Interesting.
twins act with each other, without each other, and it is interesting.
When Stack dies, gets vampire, that's the most vulnerable we ever see Smoke.
It is. It very much is. And I do love the way like he sees Haley Steinfeld munching down on him, on his brother, and like zero hesitation unloads two guns all over her.
Yeah.
Just
On someone he's known since
His whole life.
childhood
Yeah.
and is like a sister to him, and she's covered in blood and she's eating his brother, and he's like, yeah, die.
which the scene just before that is kind of insane with her
Oh, Lord.
drooling in his mouth.
Oh my Lord.
And
We did not need to get that kinky.
Okay,
this movie
okay,
is so horny.
My defense. Okay, I mean it's called Sinners. What did you think was
They
going
are
to happen?
yes, they are sinning.
And like on the one hand, I said that I think like as brilliant as Haley Steinfeld is in this movie, I think she is getting an undue amount of the discourse awarded to her.
Her character is very interesting.
She's fascinating. But at some point, when you're only discussing her in relation to the Irishness, then you're not discussing
You're
her
not
because you
getting
like
it.
the character.
Yeah.
Like God, I know
I
what
mean,
you're doing.
she is 1/8 black, which Haley Steinfeld is in reality 1/8 black.
Right, and it's it's a really interesting take on what that meant
It's
historically.
I
and
think it's also an interesting take on the tragic mulatto trope as well. Of that, like you have a person coming from two different backgrounds, and they essentially straddle the line. They can't be either or. Like,
Yeah.
Mary can't fully understand what it's like to be a dark-skinned black person because she's not. So she's naive to them, and that's part of the reason why she's like willing to go out and speak to the vampires. But she's
right.
also not white, and she can't fully relate to the whiteness. She doesn't feel like she belongs as part of that community. So like
and
that carries out.
Stack tries to push her towards that community for her protection, and she chafes against that so much because there's loneliness there, and part of the reason she's so susceptible to the vampires is because they pretend to understand her, to understand.
Of course, she almost gets away.
Ununderstandable experience, and I don't know. It's anyway. So when the discourse is flattening her into a character that's only associating with whiteness, you're doing what the character like chafes against and what puts her in that position. And anyway, but also there's and I was complaining about this to Kit the other day. There's the level of like prudishness on the internet. Anytime she delivers like a horny line is like,
and you stuck your tongue in Yaku's and fucked me so hard.
It's a 10 out of 10 delivery. But if you pull up like a YouTube short or an Instagram reel of that scene, the top 100 comments are going to be some variation of, Haley, that wasn't the line. The line was, oh, I thought you loved me. And no, that was the line. Sit with the discomfort for 5 seconds and wonder what the explicit sexuality is doing in this film. Please, for the love of God.
I have a theory about the explicit sexuality. As I was writing this, I realized there's a lot of foils in this movie, right? We already talked about Smoke and Stack. I think Annie and Mary are foils to each other. And I think that, in a way, they represent the Madonna whore complex. I think Mary, for instance, she's the one we see, like, actively engaging in, like, deviant behavior. Yes, we do see Annie have sex, but she's also married to Stack. Smoke. And also Annie's, like, a mother. And she does represent purity. Like, they kill her before she gets corrupted by the vampire.
Annie is also, like, I would consider her outside of the typical, like, Hollywood norm of, like, what is considered a sexual, like, body type.
She is beautiful, though.
Yes, 100%.
Like, without a doubt.
Stunning.
But yes, you never really see, like, a larger black woman portrayed as, like, the object of sexual desire. Whereas, like, Haley Steinfeld, for instance, as a skinny, white-looking woman, is usually the sexual object.
And they're representations loosely of the like Madonna horror like dichotomy, but they're complications of it, right? Like Mary is given like dignity and humanity in her sexual pursuit, and that's Annie is shown to have sexual desire in spite of being the sort of like not in spite of like as part of the maternalness. I'm sorry, I'm reading way too much of our English class into this movie.
No, but that's important.
I mean, yes, it is important. I mean, her first scene ends with her and Smoke going at it.
Right. And it's so cool to see that she can be like an almost holy figure, a figure of like uncompromised morality, someone who everybody else looks up to and also gets to
she sort of is
do what
like
she wants.
She's depicted in white at the end of the film.
She is.
When you see her at the end of the film, like I was like, oh my Lord, she looks like the Virgin Mary.
Yes.
Like she's got like her
She's
her
got
white
the
dress,
infant suckling on her teat.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, all in white. It's really interesting. And what else?
And
she might be the
she
smartest
gets to die
character.
on her own terms even.
She does.
That's true.
Yeah, she might be the smartest character in the movie. She's the one that figures out they're vampires, explains all the rules, which is such a great scene. Like, it's exposition, yes, but she like very clearly explains like what the rules of these vampires are.
Because voice.
Different vampire movies do have like different rules for their vampires, and for the most part, these are very traditional. With a couple like very interesting exceptions to the rule. Like they don't. With the Lord's Prayer scene was interesting to me.
Oh yeah,
one of the scariest scenes I've ever seen. And also like, I think the hive mind thing isn't necessarily unique, but it's not necessarily traditional.
It's not mainstream vampire.
Yeah, like sometimes in like a Lost Boys type vampire movie, you kill the head vampire, all the other vampires go back to normal. It's not like that here.
Right. It's also interesting to see how Annie's the way her religious beliefs factor into the movie, because it's her understanding of like the spiritual that ends up saving them, and it's set as very distinct from the like taught
from
kind of
Christianity,
colonizing religion.
which is portrayed as the colonizers, the weapon of the oppressors, I suppose,
and yet also a source of of comfort, right? For Sammy to like fall
Yes.
back on reciting the Lord's Prayer.
Same
And for
with
Remick,
Remick.
even in that terrifying scene,
for
to
Remick.
acknowledge like, this is a religion that was forced upon me too, and yet, like, it's...
The words still
I
bring
still
me comfort.
find
Right.
comfort in it.
And the role of religion is so interesting to me here. And I do think it's unfair to like completely paint Christianity. Undeniably, it has been used as a tool of oppression. But
But
there
even-
there are ways like where it was not that. Like the
I
black
would-
church was historically a place, like the only place slaves could freely express themselves, and that's where like gospel music and that sort of deal came from.
I would even say, like, that also adds to the fact of Remick being Irish.
Yes.
Because I was talking with Catherine about this the other day, where Catholicism for the Irish is seen as, like, resistance to oppression.
Yeah.
That it was what they used against the Protestant English, who were the ones who were trying to colonize them. Whereas Catholicism, if we're looking in Latin America, that was seen as a tool of oppression. And it was used as a tool of oppression.
Right.
So it's interesting how it can hold both at the same time.
Definitely.
And often is wielded as a tool of oppression by the people who first used it as a tool of resistance,
Yeah.
i.e. Remick.
And the Irish.
Which, yeah, this is something, like, when I first walked out of this movie, I loved it so much, but I was also, like, wrestling a lot with how, like, it would interact in conversation with my faith and my personal beliefs, because, like
Preacher
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 boy,
boy.
because, like I said, like, it has been historically used as, like, the tool of oppression. I had a passing grade in, like, high school history. I know these things. And so,
You
like,
were
how
taught
do you,
about
how do
religious
you,
oppression in high school
yeah,
history?
how do you
Sorry,
reconcile,
Mr.
how do you reconcile that with, like, its ability to, like, I don't know, can it really be good? Can it
Right.
really bring comfort? And
I want so
Can your
desperately
identity
to believe in the
exist?
power of the church as a force for social good.
yes,
And it just fails me over and over again in that.
yeah, and like I was wondering, like, walking out of this, is Kugler saying like religion's bad? I mean,
Or-
to put long.
I mean, I don't
Well, but
story
that's,
short.
that's where Annie gets
I don't think he
interesting.
is.
because she shows that religion can be good if it's authentic.
If it's authentic.
For Annie, especially because she's practicing this African voodoo kind of
Hoodoo.
tradition,
Yeah.
it's authentic to her versus like with the vampires and stuff, especially the ones who are like taken over by Remick. It's forced upon them.
Right.
It's like the Irish jig, like they don't know Rocky Road to Dublin.
Yeah.
That's being like put on them by Remick, kind of similar to religion. And I think it also, like, if we look back at the opening scene where Sammy walks into the church and they're the kids singing, I think it is meaningful the fact that they're kids singing because it shows that that is like being forced upon them.
Yeah.
That religion, that religious practice is what's being taught to them to carry on it.
And it sounds like redemptive and beautiful the first time we hear it, and it's a little more distorted the second time it comes
Yes.
around.
Yeah.
And I want to talk the Rocky Road to Dublin scene.
I love
Is
that
again
scene.
gets an
wonderful.
It's
undue
one of
amount
my
of
favorite.
TikTok clout, but
It's a really good song.
and it's
It's
a good,
one of
it's
my
a catchy
favorites in
song,
the movie.
and it's an interesting scene in conversation with the other big music scene because in the other big song scene, it's transcendent, right? There's spirits weaving in and out, and the building is burning, and it's this one
I lied.
beautiful
I lied to
continuous
you.
shot.
Is what you're. The I lied to you scene.
The
Is-
yeah.
Yeah.
And-
Another great song.
Right. And so we get this like beautiful, like freeing musical power, and we see like the line between like this realm and the spiritual one like blurring, and it's
I think it's
while the Rocky Road to Dublin scene is so firmly here, all we see is them and this like puppet like dance, and there's nothing else to it. It's just these people and this song, and it never takes you any further.
Exactly. And I think it also, taken into account the other Irish song, Wild Mountain Time, which they
Yes.
call Will You Go Lassie Go, which I was
is not what it's
always
called?
taught
It's called Wild Mountain
Time.
Okay. I didn't know this.
This is I Will Die on This Hill.
Which is such a beautiful
It is
song.
wonderful. I
they
love
do
it.
a great
It's
rendition.
one of my favorites. And when they were singing it, and I was sitting in theater, I was like mouthing the words because I was
Aw.
like, I love this song. But looking at that, you can kind of see a bit more feeling in it, or
Yes.
feel a bit more feeling. Like it seems authentic. It feels like Remick is yearning for that, and
He very much
feels
is.
connected to it. Versus in Rocky Road to Dublin, the other Irish song, there's no like connection to it. They're just performing. Like Catherine said, they're puppets. There's no authentic connection to it.
I would argue there's authenticity, at least for Remick. But for all the people that he's
the rest of
puppeteering.
And also,
that
I
being
forgot to
said,
talk about their faces, because you can see everyone's faces so clearly in the I Lied to You song. You can see, like, they're all, like, tilted up, and you see their faces lit so clearly, and you can't see anybody's faces in the Rocky Road to Dublin,
That's a
just
good
their eyes
point.
glowing out of the dark.
The lighting is, I mean, they're outside in the nighttime. It's low-key lighting. That's a good point. And the vampires, like, just side note, like, the thing the effect with the glowing eyes is so
the red
creepy.
eyes.
I love it
So
so
creepy.
much. But, yeah, and I will say about the Rocky Road to Dublin scene, like, I love how some of the vampires are, like, just really in it.
Yeah.
Like, you
Harry
see
Steinfeld's getting into it.
Steinfeld, Stack is really,
Stack was so, like,
he's going off. Cornbread is
Cornbread
going
is having
crazy.
a blast.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like if Cornbread, even if he wasn't a vampire, he'd be
Oh,
getting in on that.
Cornbread be getting in on it. But still, it's like the over, like, the movements are so dramatic and stiff and jerky and
Just,
I don't know.
There's
I mean,
something
it's Irish.
unnatural.
It's
about
Irish,
it.
and
It's Irish step dancing.
Irish step
It's
dancing
very
is
stiff.
kind of stiff, but this is maybe even more stiff than like a good Irish step dance should be.
I think-
again, in like contrast to kind of like the loose free dancing in the club that they had.
Yeah, but it's funny to me. Jack O'Connell, I think, is the actor's name. I guess had been like an Irish step dancer in his youth, and this is him sort of like getting to reconnect with his roots in that way.
I want to talk a bit about symbolism in the movie, specifically
Please.
about the money.
Yes,
Because I think money is a very important symbol in this movie, because we see it in three different ways. So we see the blood money that the twins bring back with them from Chicago, and that's
Right.
what they use to buy the juke joint. We see the gold coins that Remick gives, and
they spread the vampirism.
and we see the plantation money
Wooden nickels.
with nickels. And I think it's very interesting. All of them are symbols of oppression. All of them are being used to oppress in different ways.
Yeah.
Capitalism.
Oh my goodness. And I think it's interesting, especially with plantation money. So, little brief history lesson for those of you who don't know. When the sharecropping system was in place, plantations made their own form of currency in order to keep people on the plantation.
Yes.
They were paid in this wooden nickel form, and that did not equate to actual US dollars, and it could only be spent on the plantation. So you couldn't leave. You couldn't go from Mississippi to Alabama and spend your plantation money. It wouldn't work. There was no actual monetary value backed by the US dollar. So the fact that that is shown as the only way for them to pay for it shows that they are trapped in this area.
Yes.
And that is an active tool of oppression.
And then real money, that gold, is introduced as the thing that could free them, could save them, but of course it's not. It just
Right.
corrupts them further and, vampirism.
It's a different. It's not a way out. It's just a way to a different form of, I don't know, oppression, but submission,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, it is really interesting, the role. I hadn't thought about the role of money. And you have some brief moments of gambling too, like in the juke joint. What's her name? The Grace picks up her husband from a table to dance with him. And you have the conversation like Smoke is. I keep getting him.
I know,
so
it's
hard.
confusing.
Smoke is the one that like doesn't want to take wooden nickels for currency, but Annie and Stack talk him into it because like these people need a place to just be free for a night.
And of course,
not-
even then, in that conversation, Smoke does the math and he counts the money and he's like, we'll be running the ground in 2
A couple
months.
months, yeah.
Like even if they do that, like even if they like banned like the wooden nickels, the plantation money, and they just took real US dollars, like any way you slice it,
It's all
They're
gonna
gonna-
die.
they're gonna
It's
run it.
all-
Yeah.
It's so inevitable and it's so sad.
It's so sad.
I was just bawling through this whole movie. There's no
way out.
universe in which it would, because the like number one complaint people have with horror movies is like these dumbasses,
Which I don't think anyone was like stupid in this movie.
nobody's
No.
stupid in this, and there's always this
maybe
idea.
cornbread.
Maybe cornbread.
Okay.
But like none of the main characters made like any decisions that I'm like, why
there's
on
always
earth would
there's
you do
always
that?
this idea that like had they just made the right decisions, you know, they could have gotten out of this whole thing. There is no getting out.
Even like the one big, not even mistake, decision Grace makes to let the vampires in, like you fully understand
Right.
why she did that. It's not because she's stupid. It's because she's a
Desperate.
mother.
And
Dr. A.
She's desperate.
She is.
And I wrote in my
I love
notes,
Grace.
desperation leads to exploitation and vice versa. It's like an endless cycle. So like it's like they're desperate. So they're getting exploited by the vampires
Yeah.
essentially, which will create more desperation, and it's just an endless cycle.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about Perlene.
We didn't talk about
didn't talk
Perlene.
about
Shall we
Perlene.
talk about Perlene?
It's interesting because we keep drawing this line of like Annie versus Mary in terms of like sexuality and maybe that the connection of that to whiteness, but then you get Perlene, who is like also incredibly explicitly and like joyfully sexual.
Yeah, she's crawling on the stage. Like, girl is living her best life.
Amazing voice too. Gosh, the music in this.
The music
Once
in
again,
this movie.
listen to the soundtrack. 10 out
But
of
watch
10.
the movie first.
Watch the movie first.
Don't get music spoiled.
Oh, so good. I feel like Garanson's gonna win.
As he should.
But
I
I
hope
also
so.
don't know what else is getting nominated.
I fear for what's going to happen at the Oscars with this film because the Academy
think
just
it's gonna
kind of
get
hates
screwed?
popular media.
They've
been
never had a good
so-
track record with horror.
They don't like horror.
No.
They don't like popular movies, and you know they're racist. So we've got the trifecta. But it's a good movie. I don't care what it wins.
Yeah,
like,
no, I
movie of the
haven't
year.
cared what the Oscars think.
In my
years.
heart, it will always be number one.
Yeah, it's real good. It deserves all the hype it got.
Watch Sinners, guys.
Watch Sinners. Yeah, I know some people are turning around on it. It's overrated. It's not that
not.
good.
It's not.
It's not. It's really good. Check it out.
Again, I think the discourse is kind of flat around it.
Yeah.
I'm not really enjoying what I'm seeing of the like internet response to it, which is sad because like when I watch a good movie, I just want to talk about it with people. But
Do y'all find the internet discourse kind of ironic too?
Yeah,
Deeply,
no,
very.
I was listening to the Dead Meat podcast on this movie, and they said like the movie's almost become like a meta commentary on the discourse surrounding the movie, because I mean one of the big things about it was Ryan Coogler made a very unique deal where in I want to say 30 years, 25 years, he's going to get the rights to this film fully back to himself. No studio is going to own it anymore. Which, like, other directors have made that sort of deal before, like Tarantino for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and there hasn't been all these news sources being like, this is going to ruin the movie industry. But when Ryan Coogler does it, when a black director does it, all of a sudden, everybody loses their minds. And,
I also think there's like a level of irony too that we're three white kids.
yeah.
so you're talking about Sinners.
Okay, I'm glad someone said
creating content from a black movie, which is like the vampires.
Yeah.
Are
yeah.
we the vampires?
We are the
We are the vampires.
Unfortunately,
Oh, well. Are we going to step outside, do a little Irish jig?
I would love to.
I don't have the coordination, unfortunately. I mean, he was moving. He was like his feet were a blur. It was ridiculous.
And
Thought-
it's
what?
again, I really like what the Record Dublin scene does because it's so creepy, but it's almost joyful, right? You're
I think it's
clapping along. You're
joyful.
so.
I'm tapping my foot
Yeah.
watching it. It's fun.
And it's, I don't know, the like historical relation between the Irish community in the United States and the black community in the United States is so fat. Do y'all know about the draft riots in the Civil War? Or specifically, okay,
No,
this is one of my little niche historical events. But there was a neighborhood, like a kind of a slum in Five Points, Manhattan, where there was a lot of like intermarrying and just like living together among like free black people and like recent Irish immigrants. And there was a musical made about this, by the way. It's called Paradise Square, and it got screwed over by its producer, but it's a really good
Dang.
musical. But anyway, it was like, and it's called, the musical is called Paradise Square because this neighborhood was like a haven in so many ways, and it was just this incredible little utopia in an otherwise really racially divided city in a really racially divided decade. Not that the United States still isn't, but you know what I'm saying.
Like in that time, for context, if you went outside of your borough, you would get like killed.
Right. But there was just a mixed like Irish and black community, and then Abraham Lincoln does the Civil War draft thing where you could. If you were a citizen of the United States, you had to go fight in the Civil War unless you could pay your way out of it. Here's the thing: most of these black residents weren't citizens of the United States because that's why the Civil War happened. Racism, slavery, that was a thing, guys. And so it turned into this infighting of Irish who obviously couldn't pay their way out of the draft and had to go fight, and instead of rightfully taking it out on the rich white people who were paying their way out and making these people fight in a war when they were seen as second-class citizens in every other aspect of life, they turned to their black neighbors, and a riot formed and a mob formed, and the neighborhood and a lot of like black-owned businesses and residences were burned to the ground. I don't know. I kept thinking about that watching this movie.
Yeah, that is an interesting.
There's so many connections between the three groups because it's Black, Irish, and Choctaw.
We haven't talked about the Choctaw.
The Choctaw really interesting, but I think like a little historical tidbit is: did you know the Choctaw Nation gave $170
to the Irish
during the Irish potato famine? So like there's connections everywhere.
There are. Yeah, it's so interesting, and
I love that the Choctaws show up just long enough for us to understand that they are too smart to get caught up in any of this.
Yeah.
They're like, nope. They're like, we're not doing this.
They wish the clan folks well. They say like, may God have mercy on you and watch over you if you let Remick in, which they let Remick in, and that's why the movie happens. But yeah, no, they're like good people, and they just show up for a few minutes and leave. But Catherine, you mentioned the draft. That reminded me. It's so interesting to me that the twins are World War I veterans.
And they enlisted. They chose to go.
They were in the German trenches together. They mention.
And we want to talk about the corruption of money. Talk about a war that was fought over rich people.
They fought all that, killed, watched people die, and they came back to a country that still discriminated against them.
Yes, I think they thought. Like, this is my opinion, and I think that this is true for most, like, black individuals who enlisted in World War I. They thought they would go and come back. They would go and come back and be seen as heroes of the country. So that's what you see in the past when it comes to,
which
like, white
is a story
people.
we've seen over and over again with, like, every war.
It doesn't happen. And it's unfortunate, and I think that, like, the lesson that they learned from that is, like, we need to take this into our own hands. Like, why shouldn't we have what the white people have? And that's why they join the gangs in Chicago.
Yeah, they worked for Al Capone for a while.
I want a prequel movie of Smoke and Stack just doing gang things.
That would be so fun.
And they steal from both the Irish and the Italian gangs to make their juke joint.
Yeah. And they come back home to face the devil they know rather than the one they don't.
Because those are the only options.
Yeah. But it isn't the scene where they like uncover the stolen wine, or is it wine?
Yeah.
Wine and beer from the Irish. There's a snake in there, and I keep thinking like, what does the snake mean?
Oh, I love that.
The snake.
I feel like a part of me thinks it's like a biblical serpent sort of deal, but
forbidden fruit kind of thing.
Forbidden fruit.
So my thought process on that, I wasn't really so concerned with the snake itself because I'm like, okay,
As
snake,
the brothers'
snake
reactions.
biblical.
Yeah.
The brothers' reactions where Stack, for instance, just tosses the weapon of smoke and smoke kills it. And I think that is also like a good foreshadowing for the end of the movie, where Stack is not, he doesn't do the violence to like kill the vampires or anything. He doesn't like engage in any violence. Versus Smoke, for instance, he kills a lot of vampires and he kills a lot of KKK members.
Yeah.
Like he's
That's
the one.
A lot of KKK members.
Absolutely.
That was
an impressive
cathartic.
amount.
Yes, that was a wonderfully cathartic. Like after everything that happened in this movie, just 5 minutes of him just blowing the KKK. That was great.
Yeah.
And so I think it's also telling to see like when you take into account that like Smoke represents the resistance to oppression. And he's actively willing to fight against it versus Stack is more willing to like give in and
That
just
does stack a little dirty,
he,
but
yeah, but he in the way that he gives the knife to Smoke to kill the snake. Like he's willing to vocally give his support over to the side. He is not for the oppressors, but he will join if it protects himself.
Even in the the pick poor Robin clean bit, which is such a fun little ditty.
And spooky. When they sing it, it's creepy.
Yeah, I like the little.
Oh yeah, when
guitar,
they move.
holding that jaybird laugh. I don't know, it's fun. But like you look at Stack and he's like low key feeling it. Like if Smoke wasn't there, you kind of wonder like would he have just let them in?
oh my gosh.
But yeah, like
And
he is
I mean,
more.
he is the more naive one. I mean, he has a thing with Mary, for instance.
Yeah.
That just shows that he is more naive to the ways of the world than Smoke is. That he's willing to take on the risk of engaging with a white passing woman.
More
but
naive,
also
but
in that the collaborating with the oppressors thing that he his solution to Mary is just like send her off to go marry a white
Exactly.
man.
Exactly.
Assume nothing will go wrong with that. Assume she will be so happy with that life.
And also, a part of me wonders if like it's not so much. I mean, it is naivety to a degree, but like also, just he has more faith in humanity. Maybe
He's hopeful.
Like Smoke says, like he was the best part about me, which is such a sweet thing to say about your brother. But I don't think mine would say that about me.
Like happy and
Yeah.
like he's very uplifting. Like
Smoke
you see
is
him
always
in the
so
car,
serious and
like,
Stack.
Yeah, no, he's like hyping up Sammy when Sammy starts playing.
I love that bit. Like he hears the second he starts singing, like he just looks at him versus shock. Then he like lets out a yell of approval, I suppose.
And he's just like the way he like exchanges with Cornbread and Delta Slim too. It's all just very like friendly and open.
It is. It really is. And I wanted to talk about like how they got Delta Slim in on it too.
Yes.
Because he like at first he doesn't want to join them. He wants to stick with something consistent, a job that with safety and security, stability. But he's won over by Irish beer, something from another culture that I don't know that is used to.
I mean, I don't drink, but I've heard Irish beer is pretty good.
Probably.
Get you a Guinness.
Right, actually. I don't know. I thought that was interesting.
Wow, Kip mentioning Guinness.
Yeah.
Least likely thing to happen.
I love the House of Guinness. That's my newest obsession. Anyway, but yeah, I do think it's interesting that that's what gets him, is that he's like drawn into it by like the perceived luxury of another culture, especially because the Irish beer and Italian wine, those are luxuries. Those are imported.
They
goods.
are.
So,
But it's also that he's like in doing that, being drawn away from a white-owned business to the. I don't know.
And
I'm also super interested in the scene in the car afterwards.
oh yeah,
I was gonna say, like, this character is for the most part like sort of comic relief, very silly, but he has this like understated sort of sadness beneath it all, and you see that in that car scene with. He's telling the story after they run into the prison chain gang, which is basically slavery after slavery was outlawed.
Kit, do you want to do a historical spiel on this while we're at it?
I don't know if we have time for historical
I'll
spiels.
be real
I'm not
quick.
gonna lie. Okay.
I'll be real quick. So, 13th Amendment banned slavery, left a loophole for incarcerated individuals. So the American government exploited that. And so they started coming up with reasons to arrest a bunch of black individuals. And today, the U.S. has 25% of the world's incarcerated individuals. Big number.
Big number. Wow.
So fun.
All right, that's it. That's it for the brief historical spiel.
Thank you.
But I love the way that scene is shot. I love that we can hear the sound effects as he's recounting the memory.
Kugler could have like shot it, given us visuals, but you just
We
get
just get
sound effects.
And then the sound bleeds into song.
Yeah, next time you watch the movie, close your eyes during that scene. I always like to do that.
Interesting.
I just listen.
That was the scene where I was like, oh, this is about music.
Yeah.
And I think it also, the fact that like he's so overwhelmed with emotion, his outburst is singing.
It is.
Humming.
Yeah. He's
Like that's their only
it's the power
way.
of music. It's their expression. It's
And
how
you can
he's-
see Sammy kind of learning here because Delta Slim is the one that later tells him to introduce himself in the same way in the club. Like tell your story first. Let the song come from the story. Let the song be the outpouring of the story. I don't know. It's beautiful.
And it's also interesting to me that the story he tells about the dude who gets lynched at the train station is somebody that was going to try to start a church, do some good, And of course, you get this story that you get so many times, unfortunately, where the dude makes up a story about him raping his wife, and then he gets just
Stole the money from a white woman.
sold the woman money, and he gets lynched, and it's terrible.
This is so not a linear analysis of this.
Not at all, but it's chill. Like, I mean, sometimes it's linear, sometimes it's not. I think this has gone very well. We're sort of running out of time. We still have some time. I liked how Smoke tells Sammy to like leave the quote improper shit to them, like leave the sinning to the sinners, I suppose.
And he's just trying to maintain the purity of the next generation. Like you see that where he doesn't want to hold his daughter at the end either.
Yeah.
Is that he doesn't want to like taint her.
He doesn't
with
think
his
he's like,
sins.
don't get that smoke on my child,
Exactly.
she says. She's not just talking about the cigarette.
And same with Sammy too in that instance, where it's like he's trying to protect this next group of people.
And his way of protection is pushing him away from himself. Like he doesn't, I don't know. He has this sort of separation.
And Sammy doesn't. Did y'all think he was going to drop the guitar and like go to his
No.
dad at the end?
No.
Because I kind of thought he was.
Really?
I really thought there would be some sort of like embrace of his family, even if not a complete acceptance of religion. So for us to
do you
not
think
even
that would have been a good ending?
No, I'm incredibly satisfied with the ending we got, and I was pleased with. I don't know. It wasn't the direction I was expecting to take him in.
Speaking of endings, did you watch like the second, like the end credit scene?
What's the end credit scene?
It's Sammy. He's back in the church and he plays "This Little Light of Mine" on the guitar.
What? Kid!
I didn't know that was there.
Seriously?
I seriously didn't know that was there. I thought. It was
Okay,
a
well,
mix-
I'm gonna go rewatch the whole movie.
No, after all the credits are over, Sammy goes back in the church. He sits down. I think it's before all the stuff goes down. He sits down with his guitar. He sings "This Little Light of Mine," and that to me was like back to the religion bit, like a reconciliation for him of like between his faith and his self-expression. And if his dad hadn't been such like a dick, then maybe he could have kept both. But instead, he had to choose. He was forced to make that decision. And that's, well, while he was able to make something good with it, like, that is still tragic. Like, that something could have been there, to me at least.
Okay, well, now I gotta go rewatch the whole movie. What?
Oh, we will tonight. We got to watch it with Maggie.
Oh, my gosh.
if you guys,
She'll love it.
If you guys are frequent listeners of the podcast, Maggie just did an episode.
Maggie featured on the Dead Poets Society episode where she analyzed Shakespeare. Crazy person.
And yet she doesn't like to read.
And she did. Well, so she says.
She
She's
likes
not.
to
She's
read.
not going to listen to this. I can
Thank
say
you.
whatever I want.
Thank you.
I like the scene where Cornbread pisses, and then like
I'm
right before he
sorry?
gets he gets bit. Right before he gets bit, he goes out to take a whiz. And
Should we just end the movie on this note?
Yeah,
No,
and
no,
they're in
no,
the
no.
podcast.
Yeah, that's. Thank you so much for listening. No, like I just think it's so funny. Like you hear whispers in the trees, some like glowing eyes. Every time you hear something, like you hear the stream stop.
Oh my gosh. And if you turn on closed captions, which we do now, it actually like pulls up what they're saying in the bushes.
That's that cornbread.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you know the fake drool from Haley Steinfeld's mouth like supposedly tasted really bad, and they had to film the scene like many times?
I know
That's
they had
funny.
to film it many times because that was like mentioned. They did not enjoy doing that, but I didn't know it tasted bad.
Do you want to, before we're done, talk about, I feel like this is a good like analytical note to end it on, talk about the aspect ratio, what that's doing, what the...
Yeah, for sure. So the aspect ratio is big here. It's mostly widescreen. This movie parts were shot for with 65 millimeter IMAX film, which is like huge film. And like there are some moments where like it will cut between. I think the first moment of full screen is Remek's introduction, and then there are two moments where you have like a transition between.
One
the
is
two.
during the song.
One is during the song, and then the second is after Grace invites the vampires in, and they're all getting ready to have their big fight, which is a great action sequence. Although it is a little weird that like there are extras getting killed because you haven't really been seeing the extras around, but like that's very nitpicky, so I'm not gonna go into it. But it's so fun, like because the widescreen and the bars just and And it's cool.
as they're like flooding in.
Yeah. It's a great
And then in the
sequence.
last 5 minutes, you get cutting back and forth, specifically as old Sammy is talking to Vampire Stack about, that was the greatest day of my life, was it for you? And Stack is like, yeah, it was. It's the last time I saw my brother. It's the last time I saw the sun. And it's, that's the one time we were ever free. And it cuts to these little like flashes of memory that are just beautiful and had me like shaking, bawling
Yes.
my eyes out. But it cuts back and forth.
with
then,
another
too.
great song in the background. I think that one might be the one. Like, if anything gets nominated for best original song, it's going to be that. That might be the only original song. I'm not sure.
I think Haley Steinfeld made a song.
Haley Steinfeld had one. And what is just the
Wait, no, you're right.
And then
there are several.
There's a bunch of them. But
just
they
the,
weren't
like-
in the movie.
Anyway,
does the scene where like Sammy's singing not count?
no, that does count. I think it's going to be one of those songs.
Okay, it should be that one.
It should be I Lied to You.
But
Should be
you're
like-
probably right. Yeah, the aspect ratio is mostly wide for like the scenes inside the juke, but then like the Rocky Road to Dublin's full screen, and most of the action is full screen.
There's
And
a hominess
yeah.
to.
But then
the scenes in the juke.
after Remick dies, it cuts back to widescreen. Like that part is finally, I guess, over and done with. And you have these flashbacks of good time. Like Smoke is dying. He's reminiscing throughout the past. Or no, he's not dying. I don't know. He's reminiscing throughout the good times of the past day. And those are in full screen. But he's in widescreen. He's in widescreen. And then Sammy arrives at church, and he's in widescreen, and his flashbacks to the past day are in full screen. And I don't know what's happening there. But
Food for thought.
food for thought.
They always tell you to end on a question. So
They do.
there you go.
I did. What did I? Oh, I really wanted to mention the bit where like Remick is like in that pond or lake with Sammy is very. I think it's very.
It's a baptism.
It's a baptism.
Oh my God, y'all are Christian. So like, did you guys also start saying
Just
the
now
Lord's
registered.
Prayer?
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
And then I got so mad when they ended on the Catholic one because I'm sorry, Sammy would have said, "For thine is the kingdom, power, and the glory forever." Like
Amen.
Sammy would have kept going.
He would've.
Which would have also been a really funny comic moment where
That
Remick
would've
says
been funny.
Amen and
But
Sammy
then that
keeps
would've
going.
ruined the moment.
Would have ruined the moment. But
As a Catholic, I was very pleased.
I'm too Protestant for this.
But yeah, like I said earlier, that's like one of the scariest moments I've
Terrifying.
ever had in a theater.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting that
It is.
like the Andy's religion like works, and,
Yeah.
and Christianity doesn't
Yeah,
against the vampires.
like why do you think that is?
Like I said earlier, I think it's the authenticity.
Yeah, the authenticity. I concur. And we are about out of time, unfortunately. I could talk about this movie so much.
No,
so
for
much
real.
Maybe
more.
we'll do a part 2 someday.
Maybe that would.
We need
I'm not
a whole
opposed
part
to it.
just to talk about the music,
We
break
do.
down like chord progressions
Okay.
and everything.
Do you do like Oscar reviews?
I haven't previously.
I think that would be really fun.
Perhaps.
Like dissect the movie post awards season and see what happened.
Or before award season start, like do like a pod just like talking about the movies.
Yeah. That would be cool. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe that might be coming for all you.
Maybe. When are the Oscars? Like March?
February?
February? That sounds about something like that. I'm very interested to see how those go.
Me too.
And like what happened? I don't know. I feel like I've been. Is Conan hosting again? I'll watch him if Conan hosts.
I ain't got no idea.
'Cause
It's coming later.
He was the
So
only
don't
reason I
think it's
watched
gonna-
last year.
I watched last year's just for best documentary.
Oh, was there like one you were? Was the,
Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat I was rooting for so hard. And here's the thing, like, I understand why No Other Land won, and I'm glad
Right.
that it won.
but
Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat was better.
We've gotten so off track though.
we have-
Anyway, okay.
it happens every time.
This was a bunch of white people talking about sinners.
It was. Thank you so much for listening and or watching to the Pulp Diction pod. Do either of you have like any closing points that you really have to get out of your system?
No.
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 Catherine?
I think
Watch
I
the-
think
watch
we
the
covered it
movie.
pretty comprehensively. Watch the movie. It's such a good
Please
movie,
watch the
guys.
movie.
Watch the movie. Close your eyes during the scene where Delta Slim is talking about his friend who got lynched. It makes it 10 times better.
Yes. And it's so great. I'm so glad this movie. I'm so glad we're in a time when like original movies like this can still come out.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't expecting this to succeed, and then it did, and it, like, upended every Hollywood executive's expectations of everything ever, that
Amen.
only superhero movies can be successful. And
I don't want
whatever.
no more Marvel slop. I want more movies like Sinners.
Please.
Please, Hollywood.
But yeah, thank you so much for listening and or watching the Pulp Diction podcast. Thank you, Kit. Thank you, Catherine, both of you, for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Absolutely. And remember to like and subscribe if you're on YouTube.
Like and subscribe.
Hit the bell for notifications every time there's a new one.
Ding, ding, ding.
Follow us on Spotify. Follow us on Apple Podcasts. Rate us 5 stars. Follow on Instagram. And that's Sinners. Boom.